So this is a quick video to show you how you can do the same regression and correlation coefficient work that we did on the graphing calculator on Desmos.com if you don't have your TI-84. This should be just temporary until you get your calculator, because you wouldn't have access to this on a major test and that sort of thing, but for now it will work. So you're going to go to Desmos.com, you're going to click on graphing calculator, and it's just going to open up a clean slate here. And the first thing we want to do, of course, like we did before, is feed the data into the Desmos. So we're going to go to this plus key up at the top, and we're going to add a table. And in here, we're going to enter the values. And I'm going to do the first example in our notes, since we already did that one together and we already know what the right answers should be. So I'm going to enter with my keyboard here 2, 3.7, 4.2, all the way down, and entering all the x values in my data into column 1, or the first column, which is the x values. 2.5, 4.4, and 3.9. Okay, and then I'm going to click over here to the y's and enter the corresponding y values in the correct order, making sure that the ordered pairs are still correct and lined up with the correct x value. 58, 72, 62, and then 85 and 85. Okay, and so you may notice, well, I don't see my data being graphed, and that's because our window, once again, very similar to the graphing calculator, is going from -10 to 10, and from -10 to +10, or actually -6 to +6 on the y-axis. My numbers are up here in the 60s and 70s and 80s. So I need to fix, my scale. And probably the easiest way to do that is come here to graph settings in the top right. You're going to see this little wrench. Go ahead and open that. And you have lots of options here, but we're going to change our axis, our x-axis, to go from 0 to 5, very similar to what we did on the graphing calculator earlier. And on the y values, we're going to go from 0 to 100, just so we can do it like last time. Okay. You could also add labels if it was a word problem, but we don't need to do all that. So now you can see your scatter plots here on the graph, and we want to run the regression and the correlation coefficient. So on Desmos, it's pretty easy. We're going to go up to the plus key again here, and we're going to click on expression. But this next part is important. This is going to make the difference. When we enter this, we need to use this y1 and x1 type of writing. So we're going to write y and the number 1 right behind it, and it's going to create that subscript. So y1. And then instead of equals, we're going to use the little squiggly tilde. So that's on your keyboard. It's on the far left, and you have to press shift. So shift, and then the tilde. It's right next to the 1, but you have to press shift. And then, because we're doing a linear regression, we're going to write it in mx plus b. So m x1. Remember, we're trying to have it pull the x1, y1 data. And then plus b. And as soon as we do that, as long as we're using x1, y1, it knows to pull the data from the table up here. And as long as we use the tilde, it understands that what we're running is a regression. And right away, you see the same information that we did on the graphing calculator. It tells us that in slope-intercept form, the line of best fit would have a slope of 11.99. That's what we got. And a b value of 35.1, which is your y-intercept. And it already drew it for us here, and you can see how it fits through the points. You can also come down here and look at the r, not the r squared, but the r as your correlation coefficient, 0.979. If we round it, which is a very strong positive correlation, and it is the same r value that we got when we did our the same work in the graphing calculator. So that is how you do it on Desmos, which is a free web-based graphing calculator. All you have to do is open a browser, to punch in Desmos.com, and get started.